Austin, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Just shedding these last few pounds, getting ready for this weekend.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I know you're cutting weight, and this fight kind of came together pretty quickly too. When did you find out? Did you get like a full camp? Because I feel like this was kind of a late addition to the card.
So I had an idea of the date for a while, but the opponent was relatively new. I only got the opponents about 3 weeks out from the fight. So yeah, it came fast. I was trying to get a fight, through August, September. So I was getting ready as if I had a fight, in starting through August. And then finally, luckily, the contract came about 3 weeks out, and yeah, here I am now.
Yeah, and then you're fighting Alex Hernandez, which is interesting because obviously he trains in Colorado at Factory X. You're at, is it Forge Fight Club now? I was trying to remember the name of the gym that you're training at. So I know there's not like a rivalry, but at least I'm sure you were familiar with him before taking this fight.
Yeah, I'm so yeah, it is Forge Fight Club. And I'm actually did my training camp in Chicago at
Oh, okay, yeah,
Valley
because I know you
Flow.
moved back home. That's right. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, okay. So
and I just had the baby and I couldn't make it out to Colorado, so I kind of made the switch over. It's kind of better for my family, and now this is my first camp with Valley Flow, where I was there all camp long. So
oh, cool. Okay, so
yeah,
obviously, we got the champ there, Bilal Muhammad, and Juliana Pena's on this card too. I know she trains there as well.
yeah.
So, okay, cool. Was that just for this camp? Do you have plans on going back to Colorado, or is this like a permanent switch? Do you think?
I think with the baby, it'll probably be more permanent. I'll try to go out there when I can, but I don't know if it'll be I'll get away with a whole 7 8 week camp time frame to be out there. Maybe a week here and there,
Yeah,
type of thing. Honestly, I'm not real sure.
yeah,
Just kind of taking it day by day, and like I just learned from my previous, UFC fights, like you can't look ahead. You gotta look at what's right in front of you, and right now it's Alex Hernandez, and that's just kind of my biggest focus right now.
yeah. And again, congratulations on being a dad again.
Oh,
As
thank
far
you.
as like dad life and all that. So when kind of give me a timeline here. When did your wife give birth, and how has the schedule been since then? Because I know obviously it's a bit different than what you're used to.
Yeah, it's quite a bit different. She's 4.5 months old now.
Okay.
She was born May 28th,
Hmm.
and yeah, it was definitely different. It was. I think we made it work. We worked together really well. So my wife and I, and getting up through the night, and I mean, you have kids, so you know
Yeah.
how it goes. Like it's work, man. Eat for something that can't even move around,
Yeah.
but you gotta give it all your attention, and feeding her and holding her, and just like making sure she's comfortable and has everything she needs and taken care of. It is work, so that was an adjustment this camp for sure. But I don't think it took away from my focus for the fight. It definitely added a lot of motivation for the fight, and like being successful and things like that. And added, the extra push when I needed it. But it was definitely an adjustment, and I'm not gonna lie, it was nice getting a full night's sleep last night.
Yeah, well, like how I did with my wife is I like getting up in the morning, so I would do like really early morning shift, and then like
Yeah.
I go to bed my usual time, and my wife would sort of handle the overnights. How did you navigate through that? Because I know everyone's different when it comes to sleep schedules.
Yeah, so I would go to bed at like 8 9 o'clock at the latest, and she would kind of get her to bed and like do anything before like midnight. And then from like that first wake up about midnight to 2 o'clock range, I would take that, and then she would take the next one, and then I would take the next one. We just kind of would alternate. So we would kind of give each other, at least a good couple hours chunk of sleep, and then just alternate wake ups, and it seemed to work out. So
Yeah. No, no, it's good. I know everyone's kind of different that way, so a little bit different there. And just last thing, since we were talking about training, obviously at Valley Flow, how did that come together? How did you end up training there? Because I don't believe you trained there before, or had you? I was trying to remember about that.
so before my last two camps, before I would go out to Colorado, I actually did go there to train there for like a week or two just to
Okay.
kind of start camp.
Yeah.
One of my buddies, was training there, and he was like, "Man, this gym's really good," and like, it kind of just allowed me to. I wanted to go check it out. You know, it's in my. I mean, it's an hour and a half drive from where I live, but I don't have to be out of state. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
high level training, and I'm not 13 hours away. So it was a good way for me to kind of get my feet in there and feel it out, see how I liked it. And it felt good. And I would start my camps there and then go to Colorado, do my full camps there. And then so like I knew what I was kind of getting into,
Yeah.
so it kind of made the switch. You know, it felt good. Uh, I really like the way they run practice and everything. They have really talented people there. I like the coaches. So yeah, it worked out, and the biggest, most important thing is I was able to be home every night with my
Yeah.
family. So it worked out well.
Alex Hernandez, let's talk about him. He's got some knockout power. He's kind of been switching between weight classes a little bit. And I think the story with, this, I don't think this is anything new to anyone, but, he's a strong starter. I mean, we've seen a lot of first round finishes there. But we also have seen when he doesn't get him out in the first round, it doesn't tend to go his way. How are you looking at this fight stylistically between what you bring and what he brings to the table?
Honestly, I feel like we kind of have similar styles outside of like the strong starter, weak finisher part of it.
Yeah.
um, he's talented. He's a good striker. He's decent wrestler and good ground game. He's well rounded. He's coming off of two losses though, and a lot of people might say that's like, oh, he's a quitter and this or that, but I'm not viewing it as that. Like he's coming off of two losses. He's gonna come hard, I believe, and I'd rather be prepared for, the worst and or be prepared for the worst and him coming strong and keeping a good fight all the way through the fight because he doesn't want to lose three in a row, I imagine, and he's gonna do everything he can to prevent that. So, um, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Really, really fun fight that I think's kind of flying under the radar a little bit. So we talked about training at Valley Flow. Who are the training partners? Who did you get to work with for this camp?
I worked a lot with Charles Radke.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, he was a big help for me for this camp. Being he fights at 170 in the UFC, he's bigger than me, and he gave me a great push all camp. Jose, Bilal Muhammad, obviously, um, Nacho. They have a lot of great guys there that push me all camp long, and yeah, I'm excited to go. Put it all into action.
What about the altitude? I mean, you used to train in Colorado, so you're kind of used to it. Did you do anything for that for this fight with this being in Utah?
I didn't. I don't have any worries about the elevation.
Hmm.
Like you said, I was in elevation for almost 8 years. I did all my camps in elevation for the last 8 years up until this one. And Denver's actually higher than here
Yeah.
by more than I thought. The elevation here is only like 4,400, I think I was told. So,
Mhm.
it's not too bad. I got here, did some workouts already and stuff, and then I haven't really felt any effects from the elevation, so I don't anticipate that being an issue at all. I think my body's kind of used to it. Being I lived in Colorado for 7 years, did my training camps out in Colorado for, eight years. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
How's this fight playing on October 5th? How do you see it going down?
I'm coming away with the win. I know that. I'm so determined to get a streak going. I want to break this win one lose one thing that I've been on in my UFC run so far, and I've trained really hard for this fight. I'm really determined to put a streak together. I don't know how I'm gonna win. I know I'm gonna win though.
And one thing I forgot to ask you too, your corner, what will that look like for this fight now that it's a bit different with the new camp?
Yeah, so I have Mike Valley, who runs the gym,
Yeah.
owns the gym, and then Bilal Muhammad's
Oh,
in
Bilal's
my
going to be in your
corner.
corner. Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then Dimitri Willis, he's the wrestling coach here
Nice.
for the team, and yeah, that's my corner.
Got a couple fights left on your contract, right? Because I know obviously you were on the Ultimate Fighter to get back in the UFC.
Yeah. Yep. So I this is only the second fight on this contract, I believe.
Nice.
So
Okay, good. Yeah,
yeah.
so that's always nice. And I got to ask, just because you're at the gym now, how big was it seeing Bilal win the title, especially being such a big underdog and people counting him out? That had to have sort of impacted the gym as a whole. And I'm sure you were training there at the time when he did win the title.
I was actually I wasn't there for that camp of his.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not in camp yet, and so I don't want to like take credit for anything of
Oh
that.
no, I didn't mean
I
that. I
I
just meant
wasn't
like
there
sort of him
yet, you
winning.
know.
I sort of, just to
Yeah.
clarify, I sort of meant like him winning, the effect it had on the gym, because that was obviously
Oh
big.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it when seeing a fight like that against he was the big underdog. People are counting starting to, the goat talk of the welterweight division for Leon already, and like all those sorts of things. Then he goes out there and performs the way he did. Yeah, it's great. It's great for the gym. It brings up everyone, and it's big for any gym for any situation of that. Like, so it's been cool, and it's really raised up everyone's intensity in the gym, and yeah.
Great. Austin, appreciate this, especially during fight week. UFC 307 this Saturday. You don't want to miss it. Anyone you want to thank before we get out of here? I'll give you the last word.
Thank you, Supreme Cleaners, for the continued support, and just thank you, all the my team, fans, and yeah, my family.